Good day! I am Veronica Ferrer of BSED English 1A, and this is my activity for Lit 103, a close reading. Have you ever heard about the legend of Pineapple? If not, let me narrate it to you. The Legend of Pineapple, a Philippine folk tale. Originally written by Boots A. Pastor, adopted by Jonathan Hossel and Joanna Cameros, illustrated by Joel Paula Togle. Once upon a time, there was a woman who lived with her daughter Pina in a tiny hut in the village. They were poor, and her mother worked day and night to make both ends meet. No matter how hard she worked, though, she never got any help from her daughter. Pina was a lazy, spoiled kid who liked to play all day in the backyard. Whenever her mother asked for help around, or tried to send her on an errand, she would always find an excuse by saying she cannot find the object that was needed to complete the task. If her mother asked her to sweep the house, for example, she would say she cannot find the broom, even if it was right there in front of her. Needless to say, her mother always ended up doing the work herself. One day, her mother became very ill. She called out to Pina, who was usual playing in the backyard. Pina, Pina, come over here, anak. I am very sick. Can you cook some porridge for me, please? I am too weak to get up. Pina ignored her mother and continued to play. Pina, come over here this very instant or else. Pina's mother mastered all her strength just to say this, but it worked. Pina grudgingly stopped playing and went inside the house. She poked her head inside her mother's room. What do you want, Nanay? Do you really expect me to cook for you? That's too hard, protested Pina, pouting and stomping her feet. Pina, it is very simple. Just put some rice in a pot and add water. Once the water boils, let it simmer for a while. Stir it occasionally with a ladle. Everything you need should be right there in the kitchen. Pina reluctantly left and went to the kitchen. Her mother could hear her banging the drawers and cabinets. Then her mother heard her open the back door and sneak out into the backyard. Her mother waited and waited. Finally, she called out to Pina again. Pina, did you cook like I told you to? No, was the defiant response. And why not? Was her mother's exasperated response. Because I could not find the ladle, was her flippant reply. Oh, you lazy child, you probably did not even bother to look for it. What am I going to do with you? Here I am sick, and I cannot even count on you. Her mother wept bitterly. In her anger, she shouted, I wish you would grow 1,000 eyes all over your head. Then you can find what you're looking for. Maybe then you won't have any more excuses. As soon as she said this, there was complete silence. Her mother thought she's trying to be quiet. She wearily got up to do the cooking herself. When she looked out into the backyard, Pina was not there. She sighed again and said to herself, that lazy kid probably went to her friend's house so she didn't have to do any errands for me. Exhausted from the exertion, she soon went back for a much-needed rest. Weak as she was, she just tried to do everything by herself, having given up on any help from Pina. Hours passed by, and days. Still no sign of her. With a heavy heart, she thought that Pina had run away for sure. When she finally recovered from her illness, the first thing she did was to look for Pina. no one had seen or heard from her. It was like she disappeared into the air. Months passed and still no sign of her. The mother felt bad for her. She feared that she might probably never see her daughter again. One day, she was sweeping the backyard where Pina used to play. For months now, she had noticed this strange plant, growing on the very spot where she last saw Pina. By this time, the leaves of the plant had fully opened. Inside, she saw this strange yellow plant that resembled a child's head with 1,000 eyes. 1,000 eyes. She suddenly remembered the spiteful words she used that fateful day. With horror, she realized that in the same way, her mother's love had spoiled her daughter. So did her anger unwittingly curse her. Somehow, her daughter had been turned into this plant. To honor the memory of her beloved daughter, she named the fruit Pina. She took such loving care of it, like it was her own daughter. The fruit flourished so well that it bore more and more fruits, and it became popular among the village and the entire country. Its name later evolved to piña, or pineapple in English. That's how the pineapple came to be. According to folklore, it was named after a child who was cursed with 1,000 eyes. That was the end of my story. Thank you for listening.